Hi everyone. Well, what I'm going to talk about in this video is reducing your energy costs. Um, you know, in the current economic system, or the current economic crisis, and the global war that's going on, and in which I believe is going to get much bigger. I'll talk about that in another video one day. Uh, what we may be faced with is a massive increase in the cost of energy, gasoline, heating oil, electricity, natural gas. Now, there's certain things that you can do to reduce your energy costs. Well, let's go with transportation. Um, the number one thing that you can do for transportation is to either eliminate your vehicle altogether and just go with the bus if you're in an area with a local bus system, or go to a vehicle that is very fuel efficient and use it sparingly. And what I mean by that is that um, you know, get yourself a small vehicle. It could be a motorcycle, which can net you, if you get a small motorcycle, like say, 125 or a 150 cc or 250 cc, you can get anywhere from 60 to 90 miles per gallon. A car, if you get a small car like a Neon or an Echo, something in those lines, a subcompact, compact, I guess you call it. You can get uh, 35 miles to the gallon. Sometimes 40, maybe 40 on the highway. Now, this will reduce your costs dramatically. Now, if you need your vehicle for work, try and find people who are going in the same direction and bring them on board and charge them, $10 a week for gas or whatever. Think outside the box on this. Carpool with other people. I know that, people go, oh yeah, but it takes away my independence and I want to be free to do, well, yeah, okay. Well, guess what? If gasoline goes up to $10 a gallon, screw that, right? You want to reduce your consumption of gasoline. Now, for in around the home, get a bicycle. Bicycle up to the store, right? Even in the suburbs, the stores are not that far away. Or get yourself a little motorized bicycle or an electric bicycle. Electric bicycle and a solar panel. Free transportation, right? I mean, that is one, that's, you can work on this, right? And I mean, if you're in an area with a good bus system, man, I mean, take the bus, go buy your groceries, right? Use your car sparingly. And I mean, it'll save you money on gasoline and on maintenance as well. I mean, the less you use it, the longer it'll last. You won't beat the snot out of it. Okay, that's transportation. Now, electricity in the home, I mean, there's a number of things that you can do. Number one, you have to get yourself some power bars. And your TV set, your computer, your microwave, all should go through a power bar. And the reason being, I'll just give you an example. The little clock on your microwave will use more electricity in the run of a year than you will doing it cooking. I mean, it's using like 4 watts an hour times 24 times 365. Right? You use the microwave, like 5 minutes a day, maybe. You know. But if you put everything on a power bar, when you go to bed at night or when you're not using these things, right, if they're not on a power bar, they have ghost electricity going through. They're running electricity through them. And you're paying for that electricity. So you switch off the power bar and guess what? There's no electricity running through your computer. Just for an example, turn off your computer right now, right? And then listen to it or look at the light on it. I mean, this thing has electricity running through it. On a power bar, you turn it off, you flick off the switch. Guess what? You're not burning any electricity when your computer's shut off, or your television set, or anything else that you have. But get yourself a bunch of power bars. The second thing is you've got to get the CFL lighting. These are the compact fluorescent lights. Um, I got compact fluorescents back in the early 90s, and they were expensive. I think I paid $22 or $23 a piece for them. But here's what I figured out. The main two lights in the house that were on were two lights in the living room, and they went on as soon as it got dark, and they were on until we went to bed. They were 100-watt bulbs. Uh, in the wintertime, they were on probably 8 or 9 hours a day, and a kilowatt of electricity cost a dime. Um, so, having the two lights on, I was using about 1.6 kilowatts, so it was costing approximately 16 cents to run those two lights every day. Every 10 days, $1.60. Every 100 days, $16. I went and I picked up a couple of CFLs, and they ran at 14 watts a piece. So I went down to 28 watts an hour. Every 10 hours was 280 watts. So it took approximately running the two lights over 16 hours. It ran 28 watts times 16. It's about 400 watts, and so that meant it took 3 days to spend 12 cents versus 16 cents a day. They paid for themselves in about 6 months. Now, the thing about that is that with CFLs, they're relatively cheap. I mean, you can pick them up at the dollar store. I don't recommend those, but pick them up at wherever you find good quality products, and they'll cost you $2 or $3 a piece. Well worth it. It'll reduce your electrical costs. You'll notice it right away. Now, make sure that you turn off everything that you're not using. At night, get an electrician in, have them hook up a switch so you can turn off your electric water heater. There's no reason to have this thing clicking in and off all night, right? That's another thing. And then just start looking at all the things you use electricity for and just stop using them or reduce the costs. Don't leave lights on. And if you use electric heat, only heat one room. That would be the room you spend most of your time in. Forget about heating the bedrooms. Forget about heating other stuff. You will probably have to have some heat on in the basement to keep the pipes from freezing. But basically, turn everything off. The less, there's no reason to heat a room that you're not going to be using. Now, getting into the heating aspect, whether you're using electricity, natural gas, or oil, you should only be heating one room. Everything else, the heat should be cut off. If you have a 1,000 square foot home, or let's say a 2,000 square foot home, and you use $4,000 a year, you pay $4,000 a year to heat that 4,000 or that 2,000 square feet home. If you only heat 10% of it, in theory, you should only be using about $400 a year. Now, what do you want to pay? $4,000 or $400? I mean, this is something that you can do. And if those crazy bastards start fighting in the Middle East, if you know, if they attack Iran, Iran's going to close off the Persian Gulf. Oil's going to go through the roof. All energy costs are going to go through the roof, and it may cost you $4,000 just to heat one room, but you know, at least you can heat one room, right? And make use of solar energy as well. If you have south-facing windows, make sure those curtains are open through the day so that the sun shines in and heats those rooms, right? Or heats that room. I'm very lucky. I have a big south-facing window, and in the wintertime, doesn't matter how cold it is, have the curtains all open and the sun goes in and it just heats the room. You don't even have to. I burn with wood, so I I can let the fire die in the afternoons. But you see where this is going, right? You close off, and everything that I described will cost almost nothing, right? It's not like I just said, well, go and super insulate your house, put a wall on the inside, put a foot of insulation. No, I didn't say any of that, although that's a good idea. But you can reduce your costs by closing off the entire house to just to get the costs down, right? You know, bedrooms, you do not need to heat bedrooms. You put extra blankets on, you get in, you know, man, I'm telling you, you get in there and it's nice and warm and toasty under the blankets. Our ancestors did it. Get a sleeping cap, wear socks, get polar fleece, wear sweaters. All these things cost virtually nothing, and you can have big, big savings. I mean, these are things that you have, you know, you should be considering. Um, so anyway, that's basically my, you know, that's how I see it anyway, and that's how I do things. And I'm fortunate enough I can heat with wood, and I get the wood on my own property, but not everybody can do that. And if you do heat with wood and you lived in the city, see if you can borrow a friend's truck on garbage day and just go around and pick up all the hardwood furniture, bring it home, smash it all up, you got free firewood, right? And after a storm, go around, start picking up branches, stuff that's breaking off the trees. Again, free firewood. I mean, you'll see lots of that stuff, and especially on garbage day. People will even cut it up in nice little neat piles, and you just go along and you pick it up, and you get yourself free firewood, right? And you know, don't be adverse to wearing a coat inside your house, right? I mean, you know, we might not have a choice in this, especially like I said, if the morons decide to attack Iran, and Iran closes up, and you know, and then those morons close off the Persian Gulf, and oil shoots up to $300 or $400 a barrel, we're in deep shit. And so anyway, get yourself CFLs, get yourself a small car, walk more, bicycle, get a motorcycle, do all these things, and you will, you know, if you got a great big SUV and it's only a couple years old, sell it, right? And then you can pick up a you can pick up a cheap motorcycle for, yeah, anywhere from $200 to $500. You can pick up a bicycle in the garbage, right? Pump up the tires, and man, you're off and running. But I've taken from somebody who hadn't ridden a bike for years. When I did do it, this was about 7 or 8 years ago. Oh man, the muscles, oh, the pain was incredible. But anyway, I'll be putting up more stuff.